Now that the many of us are learning from social media that Northwest Indiana has been without electricity, water, and food for over a week, let's let another cat out the bag, shall we? Because someone somewhere will tell you that voters do not care about what's going on overseas, that the American people need to focus on home. Northwest Indiana is in the 50 nifty, and in April of 2026, the governor announced a $15 million investment to bring Israeli tech startups to Indiana, which in total will be a $60 million partnership deal. It's almost like for the past couple of years, we haven't been telling everyone that this shit is all connected, and that if you think what's going on over there has nothing to do with your backyard, you ain't been in your backyard. This article is dated for 2023, which it talked about how the state of Indiana purchased $35 million in Israeli bonds. And at that time, the state of Indiana was the largest known purchaser in all of the United States of Israeli bonds. In another article also published in April of 2026, it says officials said the initiative is expected to help Israeli companies establish U.S. headquarters or operations in Indiana. It's all connected.
I remember when Houston lost power and they were sending linemen from all over the country to go help them. And do you guys remember what they were saying was happening in the neighborhoods in Houston? Yeah, they were saying that the linemen were being shot at. Y'all remember that? They were saying that the linemen were being attacked in the black community, and they weren't going to those communities to help them because of that. Well, that's exactly what's happening in Gary, Indiana. And if you didn't know, Gary, Indiana has been without powers for the last 6 straight days. And 2 nights ago, supposedly, allegedly, someone shot at what was a Jeep Cherokee that was being used by a NIPSCO contractor at 1:30 in the morning. And according to the news, black people were outside shooting at them, and so they couldn't go into Gary to restore their power because they didn't want to be shot at. But what the streets are saying is that this motherfucker was in the neighborhood at 1:30 in the morning with his lights out, and no one knew who he was, and they've been robbing people, if you didn't know that, and they thought he could be stealing. They didn't tell you that on the news, now did they? Seems like it's always the same story when it comes time to fixing things in those neighborhoods. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's a narrative. And if you think that it's what happens in our community, you've just lost it. We're not spending all day talking about how we can go and shoot at people. That's just not what we're doing. You're not going to convince me that we're standing outside saying, I can't wait for a NIPSCO driver or a lineman to pull up who's supposed to be fixing the power so then I can blast at them. You're not going to convince me that that's what's happening in my community, the community of people that I speak to every single day. You're not going to convince me of that. Most of us just mind our business and try to stay out of trouble because we know you're looking for us to be in trouble. So you're not going to convince me that every single time there's some major catastrophe and you all drag your feet to go help our community, it's our fault because we were supposedly shooting at you. That's not a coincidence. It's a fucking narrative.
Gary, Indiana has been without power for a week now, and the reason why you haven't heard about it is because it's only black people damn near in Gary, Indiana. Majority of people there are black. You know what I'm saying? 100,000 people in Indiana overall that have been without power because of a crazy storm that happened there recently. And nobody's talking about it. The media is not talking about it. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? And I can't help but think that if the data centers weren't there, you know, like it wouldn't be as big as a problem. They would have had power a little bit earlier. But since like the data centers are putting such a toll on these people's, you know what I'm saying, power grids, I feel like it's delaying the power getting turned back on. Amazon has an AI data center up there in northwestern Indiana that costs $15 billion and it spans across 1,200 acres. And you can't tell me that this doesn't have an effect on them and why they're not able to get power up as quickly as they should. Because I guarantee that data center is most likely up and running. Guarantee it, bro. And this is just with like 20, I think it's like 23 data centers in Indiana. And I'm pretty sure that there's like 120 something that are going to be built. So it's just, it's sad to see, man. If you can, spread the word about this, make your own videos about this. More people need to be talking about this. More people need to be sharing stories about what's going on in Gary, Indiana.
It's been 7 days since horrific tornadoes tore through northwest Indiana. Yesterday, I spoke with some seniors who were across state line from Hammond, Indiana and East Chicago attending a family reunion. They said when the tornado struck, it blew tables, chairs, bounce houses, food, everything away. They said it rained for a solid hour. They said that if it was so heavy, the rain was so intense, that it felt like they were in the ocean getting hit by waves. They said that all the adults got gathered in a circle under a pavilion, put the children in the center, formed a human chain, and they were just praying, hoping that it would pass. They said after an hour, the rain stopped, it cooled everything down, but it flooded everything. Basements were flooded. Homes were completely gutted by water. Now, that was in East Chicago. Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, he toured the devastated areas yesterday, and he applied for federal assistance and was denied by Washington because they have raised the bar as to what can be considered a devastation. Now in Indiana, Governor Braun, picture inset, he toured the devastated areas, and he and officials from his office went to the Anglo communities. Yesterday afternoon, about 6 p.m., he released a statement stating that Hoosiers that are affected by the tornadoes are eligible to receive a $5,000 grant that can be spent on food and clothing and shelter. And representatives from his office have gone to those affected communities to file the paperwork and give that cash assistance to families. But no one from the governor's office have gone to the most heavily hit city of all, Gary, Indiana, once heart of the steel country, the heart and soul of steel country America. This is a foundational Black American community, 99.9% Black. It's poverty stricken. There are single mothers, children without food right now. There's no food, no running water, no electricity, no gas. There's no lights at all. It's pitch dark at night. This is apocalyptic type situations that are happening right here in America as we speak. And my question is, do Republican Anglo-Americans despise and hate foundational Black Americans that much that they will not provide the same assistance that they are providing to the white affected communities? This is a travesty, and this cannot be happening in America, but it is.
I just wanted to show y'all how dark it is in Indiana right now. We are currently day 7, no power. Don't even know when our power is going to be restored at this point because the time keeps changing. But let me show y'all how dark it is. There we go. Completely dark. It's not safe. People are breaking in people's houses and everything.
I'm going to tell y'all why those lights went out in Indiana. They're building a massive new AI data center. And when I say massive, I'm talking about 1,000 acres. But that's not the only thing. In Sullivan County, Indiana, the crew that is working on that data center hit a power line that supplies tornado sirens. Now, that's just what they're saying, that they made a mistake and hit a power line while they're building that AI center. I wouldn't doubt it if they're taking that power and pushing it towards that AI data center and just calling it a power outage. We all know that those AI centers require something very big, a lot of land and a lot of power. And the fact that they've been without power for 8 or 9 days, what happens if a tornado comes through while those sirens aren't working? And if you notice, they're building these massive AI facilities in rural areas where the land is cheap. A lot of them are being placed in predominantly Black and low-income communities. They don't care about people living in these communities. Those AI centers are profitable. We all remember what happened before. Remember when they ran highways through Black communities? They put up factories, refineries, landfills, not to mention toxic industries around Black communities. And what happened? Those families were left dealing with pollution, sickness, displacement, and reconstruction. And that's exactly what's going to happen when all these AI data centers are built.
So what have I been saying this entire time? Data centers are going to kill us all. Guess what's happening in my state of Indiana? The building of a data center
cut the power to tornado sirens.
ahead of a severe thunderstorm. It's being described as cartoonishly evil, which in my opinion is an understatement. This is fucking murderous. Like, are they really saying that it's more important to have data centers than having adequate warnings ahead of a severe thunderstorm, making sure that people can get to safety? Data centers are worth more than people's lives.